A lot of people are worried about putting their money into the stock market because, first of all, they don't understand it. It seems very complex, and there's a lot of misinformation and like things taken out of context. And there's journals, etc., dedicated to understanding like minute details of companies to understand if you should buy their stock or not. And so it seems like you should have a PhD in finance before you make a
Hmm.
decision in buying in stocks, right? And I think that the reality is that there are index funds and other ways of investing in the stock market where you do not have to have that level of like minute detail knowledge of each company, because you're actually buying a slice of an overall market, which includes, hundreds of thousands of companies. So I think that's what J.L. Collins really talks about, and what a lot of people in like the FIRE movement talk about is really stepping back and looking at the history of the stock market as a whole. And if you look at the history of the stock market as a whole, you will see that there are dips, right? Like the Great Depression and all these different market crashes, and they crash, but then it keeps going up, and the trend has always been up.
Hmm.
And you can actually see that with the housing market too. The trend, even with the dips of 2008, et cetera, it's a dip, but then the trend is upwards.
Hmm.
And I don't, it would take a black swan cataclysmic event to probably change that. And if that was the case, we'd have a whole lot worse things to think about than our fiat currency disappearing in the stock market or something. So I think that hopefully that can kind of help people understand that there's a way bigger picture here. And the bigger picture is that by and large, the stock market is going to go up. So if you buy a slice of a huge market, like an indexed fund, which is like, the top whatever thousand companies that are
Hmm.
constantly dropping and bubbling up to the surface, right? So it self corrects all the time. If you're just buying a piece of that, and the stock market generally always is trending up forever despite dips, in the long term, if you hold your stock for like 50 years or whatever, like you're probably going to make money on it.
Hmm.
um that can kind of take away the immediacy of like, oh, we're in a recession. It's like, yeah, we're in a recession, but like
Hmm.
in 10 years we're probably not going to be in a recession,
Right.
you know and so there's going to be a change, and you will probably benefit from the change. And now,
Hmm.
if you do what's considered dollar cost averaging, which is when you just are always investing a little bit in the stock market over time, it's just consistent. Like every month, you're maxing out your 401k, et cetera. Like you're doing a certain amount of investing every week, every month. That's the same, regardless of if the stock market's up or down. Then you're sometimes buying overpriced stocks, and you're sometimes buying stocks on sale, and it
Hmm.
ends up evening
Right.
out. So yes, there's totally risk,
Hmm.
absolutely, with anything there is. But the way I see it is that when I buy a stock, I bought that stock. Now it may go down in value tomorrow, but I still own that stock.
Hmm.
I didn't lose anything. I'll lose something if I sell it,
Right.
but I haven't lost anything yet because the amount of stocks I own has remained the same.
Right.